And welcome back to M&S. Well, after all the FAI Cup action, there was also the Premier Division League clash of Dundalk and Cork City at Oriel Park on Saturday. It's been a traumatic time for both clubs recently, with pay cuts and the like, and the home side saw assistant manager Joe Miller leave the County Louth club during the week. Despite the off-field issues, both of these clubs still had an outside chance of qualifying for Europe, so the points, as ever, were precious.
A win for Cork here last April kick-started a run of 8 successive wins, but much has changed at Lee's side in the meantime. Stephen O'Donnell almost joined Dundalk in pre-season, but instead opted for City, and he was involved in the first chance, teeing up Davin O'Neill, whose shot was saved by Peter Cherry. There was a frailty about the City defence that is not normally associated with sides managed by Paul Doolan. And this almost led to Michael Daly opening the scoring, but Cork somehow survived. Dundalk set the agenda in the second half, and Tiernan Mulvenna raided forward. He was denied by Dan Connor, Greg O'Halloran and O'Donnell cleared the danger. The home side were finding success in attacking from wide positions, with Cork not looking comfortable under crosses. The ball eventually fell to Ger Rowe. His shot was easily dealt with by Dan Connor. This Sean Kelly cross didn't look particularly dangerous, but caused a moment of panic for Kevin Long. And from the resulting corner saw an opening for Michael McGowan. His shot good, but not good enough. There was a sense of inevitability about the Dundalk goal. Again, the ball was whipped in from a wide area. Connor uncharacteristically careless. The ball eventually fell to Mulvenna, who pounced for a deserved winner. 1-0 in the end, a 10-point gap between the side, but that's Dundalk's first home win since July 24th.
Oh, it's a great 3 points. We haven't given up in Europe as well. Even though people are just wanting us to stay up, we're chasing Europe big time.
We didn't really create a lot of chances, particularly in the first half. And I think in the second half, to be fair to Dundalk, they probably dominated the second half, and they had a fair few chances. And you know, I think the goal was probably disappointing from our point of view. It wasn't. We probably didn't really deal with it.
I thought the first half we were sluggish, we weren't really at the game, but second half it came out, and I think totally dominated from start to finish. And probably in the end we could have been 2 or 3, but hey, we'll take one.
Dundalk are struggling, Cork are struggling off the field, but nonetheless, that was a terrific 3 points for Dundalk. Jason, Europe?
I think it might be a little bit too far away from them at the moment. They do have a chance, but they've been playing quite well. I think that they'll be happy. I mean, some of the lads were saying on the interview there that, you know, they are chasing Europe and they won't be happy with 5th place. But I think deep down that they'll be looking at it, you know, first season back in the Premier League and, you know, safely in 5th position. That they'll be happy with that.
A late winner for Dundalk. Cork had the game against Celtic during the week. Did that have any impact at all on their performance, do you think?
We're a small squad, of course it would, Tony, yes. And then the travel to Dundalk with no overnight stays anymore. It's a long trek up for the Cork lads. And the fact that the goal came so late was 2 things. One, maybe indicative of the exertions, but also a sickener that you think you're getting a very valuable point and it's taking your hand. But on the second half performance, Dundalk caused havoc down the right-hand side of the Cork defence, and the goal was a little bit sloppy, to say the very least.
How would you rate Dundalk, and do you think this season will be seen as a success, even though Joe Miller has left them and there have been those off-field issues?
No, I think there's been a lot of trouble times there. Like, I mean, there's an experiment. I don't say experimental, but there's things that happened there, like the Dave Rogers thing is fair. I think that was a very bad thing to happen to any club, and it's been a succession of things. I think the discipline needs to be tightened up with the club. But I might just refer to Damien's comment there. I disagree with him in that it would affect Cork playing against Celtic. I mean, me as a professional footballer, and Damien and anybody full-time pro, if you get an opportunity to play a profile-friendly game a Wednesday before a Saturday, you prefer it to training any time, at least I would anyway. Because training is drudgery, you know, it's suddenly a game against Celtic. No, you look forward to that so much. So I don't think that had any effect on the travel, yeah, sure. I mean, travelling up in the day, I'd take that as an excuse.
I think at this stage of the season, it wouldn't help them obviously to play. You know, the least games the better, but you know, it'll help them get their wages at the end of the week. So I think the players will be delighted.
I don't think physically it would affect them. I really don't. Not a friendly game, a profile friendly game gives them a huge lift.
Probably would have been the pitch.
Well, maybe. Yeah, that would have more to do with it.
I'm getting a pain in my neck now with all this head tennis.